I figured if you're going to spread numerology to the people, you have to dumb it down to them. And dumb it down to them means sports, because that's what all these males want to talk about all the time, sports. So I brought it down to their level. And by the way, people who are in my position, people who are influencers, if people are too stupid to get you, that's not their problem. That's your problem, because you want to be the influencer. You want to get it to them. So you have to dumb it down in their language. And what I mean by dumb it down is sports, stocks, pop culture. You got to be able to put this in everything. And conspiracy. And that's the things I've done in life. And that's why I've succeeded at this and no one else has. But I spawned a whole bunch of copycats. Woo! All these NPCs are like, wow, Gary, now they're calling me the devil, all this good stuff, because within a couple months, they figured it all out. It's a joke, but I guess, you know, that's what happens. Whenever I knew what would happen. One thing I will tell people is be careful where you get the information. If it's free, it's probably free for a reason.
So two things. Can you give a brief, like you said, super dumbed down understanding of numerology and astrology? And then one more question is, how did you know those 3 people were going to get injured, Gilbert Arenas and the other 2 in 2007? What made you so sure?
They were all in 7-year cycles in numerology, and in 7-year cycles, people get injured. Very simple. 7 is the number of the mind, but the body does break down. Remember I said something about Penny Hardaway and Grant Hill being 7s? Well, people go through cycles, and they were in that cycle 7. When people are in cycle 7, sometimes you're going to have health issues. So with sports players, it usually translates into injuries. With regular people like me and you, maybe a trip to the hospital, maybe an accident. And yes, you can see stuff like this. Happens once every 9 years. So it's there. What was the other question?
The basic understanding.
Okay.
Kind of like kicks.
You know, this is something I've said so many times, but for God's sake, it's the best example there is. So 11 is a master number, 22 is a master number, 33 is a master number. And basically master numbers are revolving at a much higher frequency than 1 through 9. So and you're an 11, aren't you?
Yeah.
Maybe that has something to do with how you can just put your voice on there and get a whole bunch of followers, and other people can't be in front of the camera and do the same thing. But, you know, that's a story for another day. People who are 11s, they have a lot of charisma. Joe Rogan, born on the 11th, is not the top podcaster in the world.
Number 1.
The guy who lies and claims he's the top podcaster is Logan Paul, and he's born 4/10/1995, adds up to an 11. So there's a couple ways to come at this. If someone's born on an 11, 29, 2 and 9 is 11, or if someone's like Logan Paul, adds up to an 11. 4/10/1995 adds up to 29, 2 and 9, 11. So again, if that's too slow for you, that's your problem, because again, you're not slowing me down because you're slow. Rewind and do whatever you need to. So people with 11s have a lot of charisma. There's a guy on Kick. Who's the top guy on Kick?
Aiden Ross.
He's born on the 11th. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Kick starts with K. K is the 11th letter. So again, I don't believe any of this stuff is a coincidence. And, you know, another big name out there, Candace Owens. Someone who came from nowhere. Born on the 29, 2 and 9, 11. That's how she has the mouthpiece. One person I consider the most charismatic of all time, Barack Obama, born 4/8/1961, adds up to 29, 2 and 9 is 11. Barack Obama's name, 11 letters. He became president in 2009, 2009, adds up to an 11. What do you think? This shit's all coincidence? Get the fuck out of here. So when I look at this stuff and I see constant patterns, Bill Clinton's an 11. You know, these are people, Louis Farrakhan, ever hear him speak?
Yeah.
Very charismatic individual, correct?
Absolutely.
Born on the 11th. So again, you see constant patterns with this stuff, and then you see the way the elite use it. And the way the elite use it is they like to commit terrorist attacks on certain days. That's why 9/11 happened on the 11th. And the group that committed the terrorist attack, Al-Qaeda, why don't you look up on Wikipedia when Al-Qaeda was founded? And they committed the terrorist attack in America on the 11th. They did one in Madrid, Spain on March 11th. And they did one in India on July 11th.
1988.
What day?
Let's see. It says here.
When was Al-Qaeda founded?
I'll give the
Osama bin Laden, born 1959, year of the rooster, gets eliminated 2011, year of the cat, enemy signs. You see this stuff with everything. You find it?
They don't give the exact date.
Al-Qaeda was founded August 11th, 1988. So you have an organization founded on the 11th. Their three biggest attacks, not all of them, but the three biggest ones, all on the 11th. Remember something called Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
Oklahoma City happened 4/19/1995. 4/19/1995. Add it all up, 11. So again, when I see stuff like this, and it's not just here in America, yeah, I can point out that Muammar Gaddafi controlled Libya for over 40 years. He was born 6/7/1942, 11. I can say Hosni Mubarak, the guy who ran Egypt, was an 11, 40 freaking years. I can say the Arab Spring was started in 2011. And the last guy they came after, Assad in Syria, born on 9/11. So you keep seeing people in positions of power currently and in the past. John F. Kennedy, born on the 29th, 2/9, again 11. You start seeing stuff like this, you start understanding this isn't a coincidence. People in positions of power are doing this on purpose. That's the only possible conclusion you can come to.
So does numerology tie in with astrology? Is astrology more important?
No, numerology supersedes astrology. I don't give a fuck what you astrologers say. I'll give you an example. Astrology, the signs are numbered. Gemini is the sign of communication. I'm sure you've heard that before.
Yeah.
Okay. Communication starts with C. C is the third letter. Gemini happens to be the third sign. If you understand that 3 is the number of communication, you already understand that Gemini is the sign of communication because the number goes before the sign itself. See, I'm educating you astrologers out there. Because remember, astrology is over here. Even though I use it, numerology over here. This will never change. It's like men and women. Men, on average, are always going to be stronger than women. It is what it is.
So how much does nature can subvert, I guess you would say, the numbers? Because a lot of people will use, let's say, I don't like to use the word like racism, but they'll say, hey, this certain group of people are better at this, or this certain group of people tend to, you know.
Numerology shows you shouldn't be racist because 7s are the smartest. I don't care what you think about Mexicans or African Americans. If they're 7s, they're most likely smarter than you. Doesn't matter what your race is, even gender. One of the reasons I got into numerology, because I don't think much of women's intelligence. I don't really care how that sounds. I really don't. And when it came down to it, I noticed the women born on the 7th, 16th, 1 and 6 and 7, 25th, 2 and 5, or 7, they're fucking smart. They're really smart. So numerology even supersedes gender. You know, most women billionaires got it divorcing somebody or got it from daddy. Not Sheryl Sandberg, born on the 28th, the number of wealth, CFO of Facebook. She did it herself. Not Jessica Alba. You remember her?
Yeah,
nice little pretty one. And back in the day, she made a lot of smart decisions because she's born on the 28th. She didn't need to divorce somebody. So again, those two broads born on the 28th made it without a man because the numerology supersedes the astrology. Numerology supersedes gender. It's always there. You know, when people say, Gary, prove this stuff works. Okay, let's go into finance. Apple. They all got the phones except me. I'm a Samsung guy. But most people got Apples. And Apple was founded April 1st, 1976. 411976 adds it to 28. 2 and 8. Yeah, you saw it. 2 and 8 is number of wealth. It was incorporated January 1st, 1977. Again, 28. Who started the company? Steve Jobs. Born 2/24 in 1955. 2241955. Again, 28. What do you think? That's a coincidence? What are you people, fucking morons? That's the richest cash-rich company in the world, Apple. But you know what, Apple? Who invests in Apple? There's a company by the name of Vanguard. Vanguard is not worth billions. Vanguard is worth trillions. Around 9 to 11 to be exact. They're asset manager. The richest in the world. Some people would say BlackRock is, but let's remember, BlackRock is a public company. Vanguard got stocks in it. No one has stocks in Vanguard because they're private. So Vanguard is the biggest asset manager in the world. They were founded 5/1/1975. Now, I know some of you guys are slow, so do this with me. 5 plus 1 plus 1 plus 9 plus 7 plus 5, 28. At what point does this stop being a coincidence? Clearly, people in positions of power are doing something. By the way, the most valuable football franchise or most valuable sports franchise in the world, not Manchester United, Dallas Cowboys, founded on the 28th. And if that still doesn't convince you, go to a Rolex store. They only got one number in there, 28. So again, I just proved this stuff is real in finance. By the way, Wall Street was founded on the 28th day, the single biggest creator of wealth in human history. So again, it's all over the place. So we talked about terrorist attacks. We talked about finance. Where are we going to go next? Let's talk about pop culture. Let's talk about the people who are running their mouths. I grew up in an era where it was Rush Limbaugh and Howard Stern. Those were the two top guys on the radio. You had guys like Sean Hannity, I'm sure you heard of him. Yeah. Mark Levin. Let's go through the list. Rush Limbaugh and the self-proclaimed king of all radio, Howard Stern, born on the 12th. Born on the same day, actually. So the top guys in their field were born on the same day for about 20 years. Born on the 12th, 1 and 2 is 3. Mark Levin, born on the 21st, 2 and 1 is 3. Sean Hannity, born on the 30th, 3 and 0 is 3. Now let's go into today's era. Ever hear of some guy named Steven Crowder?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 life path. A lot of people who have that 3 energy are out there. Mr. Beast. He's the top guy right now, isn't it?
Number 1.
By far, isn't he?
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Not even close.
And Mr. Beast is a 3 life path. A guy we know well, Circa, is a 3. Sartain is a 3. What's his free? Rolo is a 3. So you're going to, Destiny is born on the 21st or 12th. 1 and 2 is 3. So you're going to see a lot of these guys in the same field running their mouths have 3 energy. I know I'm missing a whole bunch of guys, but you got to understand, I didn't know who the fuck you guys were about 6 months ago. I just came in this field because I already dominated numerology. So I just came in your field and started doing the same thing here.